okay?
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Pits of Motor Chaos. This is your host, Dave. I got a special guest all the way from California. Blown Àlcohol Coupe driver, Scott Chamberlain. How's it going, Scott?
Well, we are good. How's it going, man?
Good. So, how was your holidays this year, last year? I mean, we had a good Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year, all that good stuff?
We do, yeah. It was awesome. I mean, because of the pandemic and stuff, we obviously couldn't spend it with too many people, but it was still great.
Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, I know you're happy it's over with. Good, it's only one time a year that you have to go through all that Christmas and New Year's and Thanksgiving and all.
Yeah.
So how was your drag racing season 2020 with the COVID?
It was actually really good. I noticed you said blown. We're not blown. We're actually big carbureted, big block, and but yeah, it went well. We went to 6 races this year. It was actually our first year in this car, and it was actually it was an amazing experience. Just an amazing experience.
Well, so you had a good year with the car last year, then.
Yeah. I mean, it handled well. We ran the engine that we had in it this year. We were running mainly what's called NE3, Nostalgia Eliminator 3 for a 960 index. And so it was just a 468 big block on Àlcohol, carbureted, and so we had a blast. I mean, it was just such a great learning experience, and getting to know the car and all that was just an absolute dream come true.
So how many events did you run last year?
We went to 6. And around here out in California, we got to run Bakersfield, Formosa Raceway, I think 3 times. And that in itself was a dream, too. It's a very famous track out
here.
Yeah.
Lot of history there.
What's that?
A lot of history there.
There is. It's where they hold Marks meet and the Hot Rod reunion and all of that. So just to run that track was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah. So the car ran pretty good at Bakersfield?
It did. It really did. We actually ran our fastest time there.
So what's your fastest time?
It was almost a 9 flat.
Nice.
At about 146 miles an hour, I believe.
Sweet.
And that was the fastest we've gone in it. It was the fastest I've ever been, coming from, hot rod door car. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So let me rewind the clock with you, Scott, and ask you, how did you get into drag racing in the first place?
Well, when I was a kid, I'm sure a lot of drag racers have this same story, but my father drag raced, and here at Sacramento Raceway, he raced back in the 60s and 70s, and actually was the announcer out there for a while. And I remember as a kid sitting up in the tower underneath the desk, just playing with little cars and stuff like that as a little kid. So when I was young, I was exposed to it. And then I was actually raised by a stepfather, and that family, they weren't too into cars. So there was quite a stint there that I wasn't even really involved in it. And but it was just something that was in my blood. I have 4 half-brothers from that drag racing dad, and all of them were into cars. So being in touch with them and being around it, here and there as a young guy, it always drew me to the track. When I was in high school, whatever I could get my hands on is what I would take out there to go run on Wednesday nights. They called it, high school drags, back in the day. And I mean, just anything I could get my hands on and drive it. I would go out there and do bracket racing as much as I possibly could. So that's where it kind of started getting into my blood pretty good. And then as I got older, kind of started a family and just did the work thing for a few years. And then I ended up getting a 1961 Falcon, is where we started to kind of get a little bit serious. And it was a gasser car, true front straight axle gasser. And I ran hot rod in the Heritage Series with that and had just an absolute blast. And so one day, Altered kind of came up. I've always wanted a funny car, which is where we're hopefully headed in the future. But I've always been drawn to Altereds and nostalgia dragsters and stuff like that. So one came up where a gentleman in Texas, actually, I posted the car for sale just to try to get into something different. He reached out to me and asked if we wanted to do a trade. So that's what kind of started the whole get into the altered and nostalgia scene.
Wow. So when did the Coupe come into place?
The Coupe came into place about, I want to say about 5 years ago. We met, we ended up doing the deal. We met about halfway in Deming, New Mexico. They came from Texas, obviously, and I came from Sacramento. So we met midway and looked over each other's stuff and decided to make the deal and brought it home. It was an older car. It had an older chassis, so it really needed some help to get into, what all the rules and regulations are today. So instead of dealing with all the upgrades to that chassis, we actually started looking around for a different chassis. So at that point, we weren't quite sure what we were going to do. I reached out to a few people that deal in the industry and stuff like that. And so I ended up, I usually go to SEMA in Vegas every year because of what I do for a living. And I ended up getting to meet Murph McKinney from McKinney Corp, who build chassis for, the NHRA, Petragon Brothers, and Tim Wilkerson and such. And got to actually sit down with him and explain what we wanted to do and how far we wanted to take it. And we ended up getting a chassis from him. I'm not the smallest guy in the world, so it was really hard to find a chassis that would fit my frame because I'm 6'4", 280 pounds. So it's tough to find a dragster or an altered that would fit a guy my size. So Murph McKinney sent us a sheet for all my body specs and everything, and built the car around me.
Wow.
So I ended up getting it in 2017, custom fit for me. And so it's definitely a big boy chassis. And then we started building.
Wow. That's pretty neat. So now what year is that Coupe?
The body is a fiberglass body, and it is a 1934 Ford 5-window coupe. sitting on a 2017 Murph McKinney funny car chassis.
So now, what do you got the car? What color was it when you got it?
It was actually still green. It was green when I got the body. We thought of, painting it. We thought of doing this and doing that, but to tell you the truth, green is is one of my favorite colors. I've even had friends tell me it was bad luck to have a green car, but I love the way it looked. The color is actually Synergy Green from GM, Camaro Green. And with what I do work with Exalta Paint Reps, and they were actually able to match the paint because it is such a standard paint for GM, and they were able to do accents like my tank cover and stuff like that and paint it all to match to kind of start tying the car in together.
Now, how did the name how did Shamrock Shaker come about?
That's a good one. Well, when we first, over the last 4 years of building it, it went through a bunch of different names while we didn't run it yet. We tried to think of this and think of that, and it just nothing was really sticking out. And me and my wife's heritage is both from Ireland, hers and from Finland. But we were out at a test and tune before the season, getting to know the car and kind of figuring things out. And my 15-year-old son mentioned to everybody, me and my crew and family and everybody out there, mentioned we should call it the Shamrock Shaker. And everybody kind of looked at each other and said, well, that's it. That sounds amazing. So that's what we went with.
Yeah, well, it is green, so yeah, I can see the shamrock part, and does the car shake a lot when you drive it?
Not when I'm cruising. It's Murph McKinney chassis are pretty well put together. It definitely. I run a big tire. I run a 34.5 Hoosiers, and in burnouts and stuff like that, it does shake quite a bit. As a matter of fact, it being a fiberglass body, I've had to do a few medical maintenances on it, I guess you could say, finding cracks here and there, and just need to strengthen it up. But being new at this level is we're going to come across that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So for 2021, how many events are you looking to run this?
Probably 6 again. There's a couple heritage races at Sacramento Raceway, and we actually are part of a group called NorCal Nostalgia Drag Racing. There's a bunch of cars, nostalgia cars in it, and we actually have our own series as well, where there's a couple races in Redding, one out in Fallon, Nevada at Top Gun Raceway, and up in Samoa, up in Eureka, California, that we're going to run with our group. So about 6.
All right, so now when you go out racing, I know you said your wife's part of your crew. Do you have any other crew members?
Absolutely. First and foremost is Pat Denning. He, we used to work together at my job, and he's just been amazing over the past couple of years now. Anytime I meet him, it's a lot of work, taking care of a car like this and running it and whatnot. So he's my right hand man, I guess you could say. He's been there for everything that we've done with it, and has helped me immensely. And then there's my son, Garrett. He's 15. He takes care of the tires and and make sure, everything is ready to go, that I'm ready to go. Both of them help, make sure that our whole routine going up to the line and coming into the staging lanes and getting ready in the pits is all the same every time, so that we have a kind of a mental checklist to make sure everything is good. My wife, Danae, she's co-owner. I mean, it's just us. We don't have, sponsorship. My work, obviously supports us. But it's just us. It's just a family affair.
Yeah,
and then
your sponsor's your pocket.
What's that?
I said your sponsor's your pocket.
It is. I mean, when it comes to anything we need and do on this car, it's just, it's pretty much my wife and I. My buddy Pat, who helps us, he tries, but I'm so grateful for his help. I try not to let him pay for anything. Just to try to take care of him as much as I can.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So now, do you think we'll see any, future driver out of Garrett?
Yeah. He's close to getting his license now, and I've actually expressed to him, if he wants to start thinking about it, to start looking, and maybe we can build something. Because I mean, other than this chassis, we built pretty much everything else. So it would be a lot of fun to actually build him a car where he can go out and run it, and that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And to tell you my truth, my wife wants to get in the seat.
Really?
Yeah. So we're actually thinking about getting her something as well.
Then it'll really be a family affair, all three of you.
I know, right? Well, we go out to these races, and with NorCal Nostalgia, it's such a family affair. I mean, everybody is so awesome. Everybody has welcomed us with open arms. The entire group is amazing. Brian Ronaldo, who runs the group, he started it, I believe, in 2017, maybe even 2016. Has just been amazing. I mean, this guy has just been unbelievable as far as support. I mean, I can call him anytime, and I can even get him over here and kind of guide us in what we need to do and help. And, plus he has his own car, and he runs the entire association. I mean, all of them are just amazing.
So a family that races together stays together, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. We have a blast out there. I mean, just a blast. It's fun to get the car ready and be in the moment of competition. And then once that's done, everyone is there to help everyone, and everybody's there to support everybody. You could be running against somebody, and if they need any help while you're about to run against them, you run over there and help them, and they would do the exact same to you.
Exactly.
They come over and do anything they can to get you ready to race them.
Exactly. I always hear all those stories from all the other drag racers I interview. Same thing all the time. You need a part, and they got the extra part in the trailer, and you're racing against them next round, they'll come give you the parts.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what we love about it probably the most. Like I said, the competition side of it is amazing. Being out there and seeing people, I wish there was, they would start letting spectators in, but hopefully that'll come soon. But it's great to see people's reaction after the hard work you've put in, building the car, getting it ready, running it, trying to be competitive, and it's just amazing to see, I mean, it's almost a gratification of all the work you put into it.
Yeah, that's the great thing about drag racing is the fans can come in the pits and watch you actually work on these cars and take them apart and all that good stuff. And not like say like NASCAR, you can't get in there and watch all that stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. My wife, when we're at the races and kids come over and want to take a look at the car and take pictures with it, and she just loves that to death. I mean, just loves it. We all do.
Yeah, you always have access to the drivers to be able to talk to them and get autographs and all that good stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I know, one of the first races we did was Sacramento Raceway in 2020, and this group, this family came walking up to us and, told us that they loved the car and it was great, and asked us if we had T-shirts to sell. And I thought that was so neat because, we haven't done anything like that yet, but it was so neat to hear that it just kind of makes you smile. Like I said, you put a bunch of work into it for years and get it going, and to hear stuff like that, fans and start to build a fan base is a lot of fun in itself. We love having the kids get in the car, take pictures, and whatever they want to do. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, because that creates that memory of a lifetime for those kids.
Absolutely. Oh, just like when I was young. It's just amazing. I don't want to see drag racing, especially nostalgia drag racing, go to the wayside. You want it out there. You want people to enjoy it and understand the competition of it, understand what's going on, and really love it.
Yeah, I'm sure sometimes for adults too to come sit in that car is a memory of a lifetime for some adults.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, we spectated, my family and I and friends, we used to go to Sonoma Raceway and watch the Sonoma Nationals every year, and we had these camp spots that we always went to, same one. And a few years there, we went for years and years, and for the first, about 3 years, I used to sit there and watch them, and I love being a spectator, but I really wanted to be a part of it. So that kind of started getting me thinking and looking, and that's actually when the Falcon came to be. And so, yeah, that kind of changed my mind a little bit. I love watching it, but the competition side of it is just insane. The guys and gals that I was going against, have got, because we run an index, have got their cars dialed in so well that it's tough to beat. They are very, very tough to beat, and that's what makes it so exciting, is to try to go against someone at the top of their game, and that's where it becomes a lot of fun for an owner and driver. So
now, Scott, if anyone's listening to this interview live right now, whether it be a young person or older person, they're thinking about, getting into drag racing, what would you give them for advice?
Overcome the fear. As long as you can overcome the fear, that's when life begins. A lot of decisions we make in life are driven by fear. Should I do this? I don't know if I should do this. I think of, the what ifs. And I think if you can overcome that, that's when life starts. And it's always good to believe in yourself and believe in what you can do, and make sure that you don't leave a day behind that you regret. And for the longest time, just trying to be a father and a husband and take care of life and all that. And, once we basically started kicking back at life and succeeding. And I mean, my wife and I have been together 25 years now, and we've built everything together our entire life. And, we want to live today.
So how was your first time experience ever going on a drag strip? Were you a nervous wreck?
To say the least, man, it was exciting. It was insane. I mean, I literally had to tell myself in the seat, what am I going to do? Go home? So when we pulled up to the line, I didn't know how this car was going to react. I didn't know anything. So the very first run I did with the car, I took it slow. I just, as soon as the light went on, it was just a test and tune. Felt comfortable in the car, just pushed on the gas and just drove it down the track. That's all I did. I couldn't even tell you what the time was. It was probably in the 20 seconds or something. I just wanted to cruise it down. Yeah. I wanted to start feeling it, see how it handled, see if it wanted to pull left, if it wanted to pull right. Because altereds with a 125 wheelbase, they can get a little out of hand sometimes. If your back tires start to slip, you may be going left or right in the rear end pretty quick. So I just wanted to start feeling it. So by the end of the first test, we were in the 10s. And that Falcon I ran, the fastest I think I ever ran in that was almost a 13 flat. So I went from 13 seconds to 10 seconds, just like that. And it wasn't even opened yet. So we just started to go back. Then we went back out and ran it some more, got down into the 9s, started playing with things and starting to understand it. And the engine, I think, like I said before, the engine that we had in it was from the other Altereds that was already built. It's just an older engine, 468 on Àlcohol. And it was a great NE3 car. And so it just, we didn't have any restrictor. So it was basically a 9-second engine with no restrictor. So I had to do what I had to do to try to be competitive, and that was to pedal it at the end. I would fire out as fast and hard as I could, and then I would get about 1,000 feet and basically hit the brakes. That was the only way that we could get close to that 960 because we didn't have anything to actually... We tried timing, we tried jetting, we tried all kinds of stuff. And the easiest way was basically to hit the brakes at 1,000 feet and see what we could do. There was plenty of races where I would do I'd be in like the 940s at 110 miles an hour, where normally a door car going 940s is doing 130 miles an hour. So it's just a super quick car that we had to slow down somehow. And so I had to resort back to my bracket racing to try to do it. And we just weren't too successful with that. So we're actually changing quite a bit in this off season.
So you're going to try to slow it down?
No, we're actually speeding up. So we're going to actually get a new engine, and we're shooting for the 860s now for Nostalgia Eliminator 2. So we're going to go two different ways, or we're going to do one of either way, which is build a bigger cubic inch Àlcohol motor with a carburetor, or or we're going to go actually have one professionally built at a shop. I'm actually talking with an engine builder right now in Indiana about building a 540 cubic inch big block on alcohol that we're thinking about. So it's going to be exciting. We're gonna see exactly where we're gonna sit here real soon.
All right. So now, Scott, what do you enjoy most about being a drag racer?
Watching my family out there. That's probably the biggest. That's probably the biggest thing that sticks out to me. I love driving the car. Don't get me wrong. I love driving the car. I love the competition and all that kind of stuff. But to have a car that we built and, all the time and everything that it takes to get everything together and get out there and run and everything, when you're sitting there on a Friday evening or a Saturday evening and everybody's talking and having a good time and enjoying each other's company with all the different race teams and meeting new friends and all that kind of stuff, the whole atmosphere is probably my most favorite part about it.
Yeah, did you enjoy seeing him at the starting line and come around to pick you up at the end of the track?
Yes. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. We just got rid of our race trailer, and we needed to get a bigger one because we got a golf cart now and to pull it because we don't run water and because we run alcohol. And so I think that helps, not only helps with weight and all that stuff and, whatever, but it also keeps everybody into it. Everybody's coming down or everybody's coming up, pulling us up. Everybody's coming down to pick me up, and everybody's part of it. And that's what I want. I want, there's only one person that can drive it, but I want everybody that's in my crew and family to be part of it as much as possible, because it's only more exciting for them, and that's what I want. I want everybody to enjoy it, to the full extent.
Now at Bakersfield, how's the return road? Does it go past the crowd or does it go around?
Yeah, no, it goes behind them. There's a frontage road, but at the end of the track, it goes back into the pits. But there's I believe 3 turn-offs, and and it's really long. I mean the track is so well put together that you don't feel, if everything's working right, you really don't feel anything. You don't feel it jerking around. You don't feel it jumping all over the place. It's just an amazing track. Amazing track.
I mean, the local track by me is Great Lakes Dragway in Wisconsin. They opened like 1955, and the return road goes right past the stands, and the crowd cannot see everybody. Every time they finish, go past them, they can wave at them and all that good stuff.
Right, and you know what? Our Reading drag strip, that's the home track for NorCal Nostalgia, and the same thing at Reading. Reading is one of the oldest NHRA sanctioned drag race tracks, I believe, and the return road is right in front of the stands, and I'm very excited about running that this year.
Yeah, some of the groups we have at Great Lakes Driveway, they'll still stop on the return road and start throwing stuff out to the kids and all that.
I know. My crew and my family, when St. Patty's Day was here last, because Reading is like that, the kids basically just line the fence when cars are coming back. And so because we're called the Shamrock Shaker, last St. Patty's Day, last March, whatever, I went to the store and I got, they had these buckets of gold coins with little shamrocks on them. and I just bought as many of them as I could. I don't even know how many we have. And I also bought leprechaun hats. Like a derby hat.
Yeah,
I don't even
yeah.
know how you call them.
Yeah.
But they're all green. And Pat, my buddy, he saw those and he goes, "Wait, are we going to wear those?" And I said, "Well, I'm thinking about renting because of that. Just because that return road comes right back in front of the kids. And I wanted to be able to throw the kids something and get them excited about the car as well."
Yeah. That's great. Now, when you get out there on the staging lanes, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions out there, Scott?
I do. I do. I am somewhat of a religious man, and we always say a prayer, and other than all the, we try to keep everything consistent in our whole, approach to the line. But right before I go into that water box, I just ask the Lord to watch over me, and we had an amazing year. I mean, it was just amazing. I can't believe that, we really didn't have, being our first year running and altered, we really didn't have anything catastrophic. Halfway through the season, Cam walked, and Brian Ronaldo, and this other great guy, Matt Garcia, they came over to our pit. We were actually about to turn the car up for the next day, and they came over and noticed, first we noticed the timing was out, and we couldn't set timing for some reason, and then those two came over to kind of help us out, and they kind of thought something was going on with the cam and suggested that maybe the cam walked. And so we ended up trailering it because we didn't want to hurt anything, get home, and sure as heck, that's what happened. The cam started to move forward, so it wasn't engaging with the distributor very well, so our timing was all over the place. And so we actually saved, we probably saved the engine on that. So we ended up taking the cam out, getting a new button and new distributor gear, and put it all back together, and we're able to get right back to the next race. I was very proud of everybody that helped me on that. Pat and I both were just happy as heck, that we were able to take care of that, put it all back together, and end up running the next race, which was the following weekend down in Bakersfield, and that's actually when we ran the fastest, was after we had the engine almost completely apart. So, that was also a confidence booster in us. We thought, okay, it's this kind of stuff we need to be able to do and learn. And then once the season was up, I ended up getting a bigger alcohol carburetor, and we were going to throw it on the engine and turn it up to try to get down into the eights to see if we could be as competitive, in any two with the engine that we had. And for some reason, I just felt that, maybe we should pull this thing apart and, kind of check everything before we actually open it up. And Pat and I, when we started pulling it apart, we found piston number 2, the rod was bent like an S. And we thought, oh my goodness, we just dodged another bullet. So we knew then it was time to tear it down in the season and start looking forward to the future.
Now, I remember you told me last night when we were messaging each other that that coupe, the coupe body is on a funny car chassis.
It is. Yep.
Now, have you ever considered buying a funny car body and putting on there and run a funny car series too?
Absolutely. That's actually our, kind of my final goal, is to go blown alcohol. And there's a group here in Northern California called SIFCA.
Yeah, I know that group.
And
yeah,
I'm sorry?
Maher's group, James Maher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to run with those guys, and I've always wanted a '57 Chevy funny car body. I've always '57 Chevy funny cars were my favorite growing up, and so hopefully someday we're going to go blown alcohol and throw a '57 Chevy body on it, and be able to compete at that level.
Awesome. So now, what are your favorite tracks to race on?
Well, Formoso is my favorite. The guys and gals that work there, they're just unbelievable when it comes to track prep. They are, just really good. The last race we were there, it actually rained almost the entire weekend, and it opened up for a little bit so that we could get a qualifier in. And the track felt like it had never rained. I mean, it was still sticky all the way down. I can't believe what those people can do. And Sacramento, the guys and gals that work out there are amazing. I mean, they do, prepping that track and getting that thing ready for, cars with, that are doing the times and speeds that they're doing is just amazing.
Now, is there a lot of prep going into getting that car ready for a weekend of racing?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Is there a lot of preparation that goes into getting that coupe ready for a weekend?
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Probably not as much as, somebody that has to tear down their engines all the time, but, Pat will come over, and what we'll do, kind of go through what we do, is we start from the front and we work our way back, and we look at every bolt, every joint, every seal. I mean, we look at everything all the way down. We just make sure that the car's all nice and tight, engine's all tight, everything's good to go. We check everything on the car we possibly can check. And then we have kind of a checklist of everything that we need to take. We pack up, the night before we're going to leave. We get everything in there, the car, all the equipment, all the camping gear, drinks, food, fuel. I mean, it takes quite a bit to get everything together and get ready to go.
Now, if you could have your fans remember one thing about you, Scott, what would you want the fans to remember about you?
That I didn't stop living. That's the number one thing is if there's something that you want to do, if there's a dream that you're trying to accomplish or ever think of, like I said before, don't let fear get in the way, because overcoming that fear is actually the best part of accomplishing what you want to do. And I hope, those are all our own struggles in our own mind. So, when it comes to wanting to do something and the fear of, is it going to work, or, can we do it? Is it, all that. Once you start thinking you can and start spending the effort of making it possible, that fear actually starts to go away. And now you're living. Now you're living your life the way you want to live it, and you're having fun doing it. Like I said, the last thing you want to do is watch the day go by and just absolutely see nothing in the past that you wanted to do, that you wanted to be a part of, that you wanted to accomplish, and it not ever happening.
So with the years that have gone by, with your racing now, what still keeps you passionate about it?
competition